Hey everybody, it's me, Derek DC Phillips, bringing you all things frightful. And I've been on a YA kick lately, and I'm really excited to tell you a little bit about my latest read. I think you'll really enjoy it. I know I did, just as an overall note. And I found it actually at a Barnes & Noble as a staff pick. The title of this book is Honeysuckle and Bone, and I was immediately mesmerized by its cover, its description, so let's get into it. Now, our protagonist, Rena, if that is her real name, arrives at a sprawling Jamaican estate, and she'll be taking care of the Hall's two young children. We know from the start Rena is an unreliable narrator. I'm a big fan of unreliable narrators. She's posing as someone she knows, Joy, and we know that she is somehow connected to Joy, but we don't know how. Now, no spoilers. I never like to give spoilers in my reviews because I want you to go read, comment, we can discuss. But strange things start happening, especially after Ian Hall's political campaign begins to ramp up. He's very prominent. What I really like about this book is that there's such a nice mix of thriller subgenres. There's some political intrigue, there's supernatural, there's magical realism, and of course we have our gothic overtones that loom over everything and everyone inside Blackbead. Now, we as readers, as fans of all things Gothic, are pretty familiar with this story and the tropes that come along with this type of story. But we're used to these types of events taking place at a British manor, at an estate where there's a lonely governess. Think The Turn of the Screw, classic. Now, don't get me wrong, this story is no simple copy and paste, although even if it were, I can't get enough of lonely governess transported to unfamiliar surroundings and you can't trust anyone and what's lurking around that corner. Atmosphere is huge for me, and that's why this gothic subgenre is at the top of my list. Thanks to the incorporation of magical realism, of folklore, this really is a unique story. It feels fresh. Even though it's familiar, it's in a new context. Early on in the story, one of the Hall children even starts to describe the story that a previous nanny told him about this phantom bull that's angry and seeking revenge and covered in chains and flames. The description of the food, the music, it's all so vibrant that it really makes the setting a character of its own, even beyond the walls of the mansion. You know, we're very used to a very specific portrayal of Jamaica and the Caribbean in the media, which is something that actually Trisha Tobias does a great job of going into and sort of breaking down some stereotypes, misconceptions, assumptions. But we get all of that in this book in an exploration of those themes of being from a place heritage-wise, but not actually knowing the culture firsthand. It's really quite interesting and makes for some compelling internal dialogue. Going back to food for just 1 second, maybe I'm just hungry right now recording this video, but the description of a beef patty in one chapter, I could taste it. The flakiness. Oh my gosh, I need to go to my nearest favorite Jamaican restaurant ASAP. Anyway, as we begin to learn about how Rena even came to this estate, how she got the job, that sort of thing, I love the layering of the details. You know, sometimes with the thriller like this, there's this huge denouement and everything is revealed. And that's not the case here. Chapter by chapter, as we sort of count down to that ending, the clock is ticking away, we're finding out new information with every turn of the page, and that was exciting as a reader. Again, with tropes and a story, general story arc that feels so familiar, it's nice to have that sensation of what will happen next and keep you guessing. There's not one single chapter with heavy exposition. You're really unraveling the mystery bit by bit. I will say, if magical realism, if the supernatural is a step too far for you, some suspension of disbelief is required. The supernatural is grounded in reality in this narrative, but when it takes off, it really hits the ground running. And again, no spoilers, but things do eventually wrap up more or less in a way that's neat and tidy with a nice bow. I typically enjoy a bit more mess and chaos with my narrative. I keep wondering about the characters. I like kind of an unhappy ending a lot of the times, which I don't know what that says about me, but I was still pretty satisfied. I would actually like to know more about Rena. I'd like to know where she goes from here once the narrative wraps. Again, for the third time, no spoilers, but you'll know what I mean when you get to the end. You want to know how things go for her because she is 18 years old. She's starting out. She's getting ready for college. So I would like to know what happens, where life takes her. I would be up for a sequel. And I would say if Honeysuckle and Bone is adapted for the screen, I think the story really lends itself to a limited series. I could see a season 2 taking us beyond the walls of Blackbead. And in case you were wondering from the beginning of my video all about Joy, I'm not going to tell you who she is or what's going on or how Rena ended up using her identity, but I'm interested to know if you like her. If you read the book or if you read the book as a result of watching this video, let me know in the comments. We'll chat about it. We'll talk. Otherwise, I'm really excited to see what Trish puts out next. She has earned a spot at the top of my list of authors to watch out for, and I will definitely be reading whatever she puts out next.